Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. This video is for part 7 of the Scheepjes Color Lab cowl. Now this cowl has been designed by Rochelle from Cypress Textiles, and in part 7 we're going to be making this little square, this motif. And you can actually have this in different orientations. The pattern tells you exactly which orientation you need for which square. But you're going to be making 54 of these. So as such, not many rounds in this square, but you need to make a lot of these squares. But I'll show you every round, or actually round, we're going to be working in rows. We start in this corner and we work up the way to this corner. 54 of these squares. But let's get started. Round 1, we're going to start with the magic ring. So I've got the yarn tail here. So over, across, go with your hook underneath, grab the yarn from the top, bring through, and then grab your yarn again and pull through that loop that's on your hook. And now you're ready to get started, and I just like to untwist that beginning yarn tail. I'm going to start by, in this magic ring, working 5 trebles. So the first one is, of course, we start with this beginning treble, so it's a double and a chain 1, and now 4 more trebles in the ring. So that's 1 and 2, 3 and 4. There we go. At this point, just pull your yarn tail, and then you're going to close that ring until it's fully closed. Oh, there we go. Turn your work, so the other way, for row 2. Row 2. In the first stitch, so that first stitch there, start with a beginning treble. So in that stitch is a double and a chain 1. In the next 3 stitches we're going to work 2 doubles on each. Sorry, 2 trebles I mean. So 1 treble and a second. And of course also on the next one we work 2 trebles, 1, 2, and here on the second to last stitch also 2 trebles, 1, 2, and then on your very last stitch, which is a beginning treble from the previous row, I'll try to get my hook into that chain there. 1 more treble. So that's row 2. Turn for row 3. Row 3, again in the first stitch a beginning treble, so that's a double and a chain 1. Over the next 2 stitches you're going to work the repeat. The first stitch gets 2 trebles, that's 1 and 2, and then in the next stitch a treble, only 1. There we go. This we're going to repeat 2 more times. So the next stitch gets 2 trebles, 1, 2, and then 1 treble. And now again 2 trebles in the next stitch, 1, 2, and then 1. And now on the very last stitch, which is the turning stitch or the beginning stitch, in there work 1 treble. And there we go. Turn for the next row. Row 4, we start with a beginning treble in the first stitch. It's a double and a chain 1. For this row the repeat is over 3 stitches, so the first stitch gets 2 trebles and then 1, 1. So 2 trebles, 1, 2 in the same stitch, and then 2 trebles, so 1 on every stitch. 1 and 1. So that was the repeat. We do that twice more. So 2 trebles on the next stitch. 1, 2, and then 1 treble and 1 treble. Again, one more time, 2 trebles on the next stitch. 1 and 2, and then 1 treble and 1 treble. 1 stitch left, that's right here the beginning stitch, that gets 1 treble. I just want to get through both loops, and now I'm in the chain space. There we go. And that's it. At this point you can cut your yarn and fasten off, and also turn, and the next row we start with a new color. Row 5, new color yarn on my hook, and we attach in the first stitch. So it's the stitch where we finished the last row, we attach there with a slip stitch. In the first stitch, a beginning treble. So that's a double and a chain 1. The repeat now is 1 stitch longer, so it's 2 trebles on the next stitch. So 1, 2, and then a treble on the next one on the next 3. So that's 1, 2, and this is 3. This we're going to do 2 more times. So on the next stitch, 2 trebles, 1, 2, and then 1 on each here. 1, 2, 3. That was the second repeat. Now once more. This again. 1, 2 trebles, and then 1 on each. 1 for the next 3. 2 and 3. There's 1 stitch left, that's the beginning stitch here, that gets 1 treble. And there we go. Turn your work for the next row. Row 6, on the first stitch a beginning treble, so it's a double and a chain 1, and now the repeat is over 4 stitches. So the first stitch gets 2 trebles, 1 and 2, and then the next 4 stitches they all get a treble, so the repeat's actually over 5 stitches. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So there we go. So the repeats over 5 stitches. We do that twice more. I'll just keep crocheting with you. So 2 trebles in the next stitch, 2, and then a treble on the next 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We do that again. The next stitch 2 trebles, 1 and 2, and then a treble on the next 4. So 1, 2, 3, 3, and 4. And your last stitch, that's the beginning stitch here, that gets 1 treble. There we go. Turn for the next row, like this. Row 7, the same idea, a beginning treble in the first stitch, 2 trebles on the next stitch, 1 and 2, and now a treble on the next 5. So you can see every time is just 1 more than the row before. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we go, 5. So that's the repeat, and we do this 2 more times. So I'll just do this with you. So it's 2 trebles on the next, 1, 2, and then a treble on the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once more. 2 trebles on the next stitch. 1, 2, and then 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here on the last stitch, that's the beginning stitch of the previous row, a last treble. There we go. At this point you can again fasten off, but leave this side facing. Row 8, so you still have the wrong side facing. You can see here's the yarn tail from the previous row, so we're going to come back to the beginning of the row and start there. We're going to attach in that first stitch. Just quickly take a look where, because here's the double and then that's the chain 1. So in that chain 1 we attach with a slip stitch. There we go. So in that first stitch. Now in that stitch we start with a double crochet. So in the same stitch work a double. One double. And the next 2 stitches also a double. That's 1 and 2. The next 2 stitches are half treble. 1 and 2. The next 2 stitches a treble. 1, The next stitch, 2 trebles in the 1 stitch. So 1, a bit more yarn, and 2. For the next 3 stitches, a treble on each. That's 1, 2, and 3. The next stitch, 3 trebles, so in the 1 stitch. So 1, 2, 2, and 3. The next 3 stitches, a treble on each. That's 1, 2, 3. The next stitch, 2 trebles in the 1 stitch. 1 and 2. The next 2 stitches, a treble on each. So that's 1 and 2. The next 2 stitches, a half treble. 1, 2. And then the final 3 stitches, a double on each. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now turn your work for the last row. Row 9, you have the right side facing. In the first stitch we work a double crochet, and that's the first of 8, so on the next 7 stitches also. So that was 1, and this here is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 doubles. On the next stitch, a half treble. On the next 2 stitches, on the next stitch I should say 2 trebles. So 2 trebles in the 1 stitch. 1, 2. On the next stitch, 1 treble. Then on the next 2 stitches, a double treble on each of them. So that's yarn over twice. 1, 2, 3 times, take off 2 loops, and also for the next stitch, so yarn over twice. 1, 2, 3 times, yarn off. In the next stitch we're going to basically work a corner, and that's going to be, we first work 2 double trebles in the stitch, so yarn over twice. Split my yarn, so I do that again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3 times, yarn over twice, and we make the second double treble in the same stitch. 2, 3. Now still in the same stitch we're going to work a triple treble, so that's yarn over 3 times. So 1, 2, 3 times yarn over. Really hold on to all of these loops, and especially if you hold on to this last loop there, the one that's closest to your hook, that'll keep your stitch nice and small. I'll show you what I mean. So yarn over 1, 2, 3 times. Then you see I'm bringing these loops together. I'm holding my finger especially on this outer loop here, and then insert, pick up a loop, then take off 2, take off 2, take off 2, and then the last one take off 2. So that's 4 times. You can see now that top stitch there is the same size as the rest, and that's purely by keeping your finger on that loop, because I know with these long stitches that sometimes now it goes a little open, this stitch opens up, but this way you can keep it nice and tight. Now 2 more double trebles in the same stitch, so yarn over twice, 1, 2, 3, yarn over twice, 1, 2, 3, and that was a corner, so you've got 5 stitches in there. Now we're going to come this way and do the same we did coming up, but in reverse order. So the next 2 stitches get a double treble, so it's yarn over twice, 1, 2, 3, yarn over twice in the next stitch, 1, 2, 3 times, taking off 2 loops. The next stitch gets a treble, so 1, the following stitch 2 trebles, so 2 in the one stitch, 1, 2, a half treble in the next, and the last 8 stitches a double on each, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and here's the last one is 8. There we go. At this point you can fasten off and then work away your yarn tails. When you've made one little square, you actually need to make a lot more. You're going to be making 54 of these motifs, all in different color combinations. And what you see here is I've made a start with more of these. And I'd just like to give you a tip, maybe for keeping track of which square goes where. Here I have the squares as I make them. I've just loosely joined them together with a stitch marker, just so that I know what the right side is and what the orientation is, so that I don't accidentally, when we join them up, have the wrong square in the wrong place. So for example, here I have them all connected with the stitch marker, and here, this is actually an earlier part, I have them, if I just, there we go, it goes this way around. Here I have them all joined with pieces of scrap yarn, and that works just as well. The idea is that I then just know which square goes where, and then when we join them up I can just do these joins. So I guess it's quite a bit of a floppy panel at this point with all these loose squares, but we'll join them next time. In part 8 we'll join all these squares. So for now, continue with 54 of these squares in different color combinations, and then I'll see you next time for joining these and to the blanket. Thank you for watching. Until next time.